The awesome people over at Apple TV Plus were nice enough to send us over screeners for the newest season of For All Mankind. For All Mankind is an Apple TV Plus original series that presents an alternate history to the space race. The show imagines a world where the Soviet Union, rather than the United States, was the first to land a man on the moon. This event serves as a catalyst for a continued and intensified space race between these two great superpowers. The series explores the lives and struggles of NASA astronauts, engineers, and their families as they navigate the evolving landscape of space exploration. It delves into the personal and professional challenges everyone faces while striving to maintain American dominance in space. For All Mankind blends historical events with fictional storytelling, offering viewers a thought-provoking and visually stunning glimpse into an alternate timeline where space exploration takes on a different trajectory than what actually occurred in our real history. In every new season of For All Mankind, the timeline jumps nearly a decade. In the case of Season 4, 8 years have passed since the finale of the third season. These time jumps are handled really well. The season kicks off with an information dump and montages in the style of news broadcasts and headlines. These montages blend our real history and this alternate timeline. It's interesting to see the things that change and the things that remain the same. The look of the series and the soundtrack is always kept true to the decade that the season is taking place in. The writers give the audience a chance to figure out the events between things. We aren't forced to sit through clunky exposition about what's happening with each individual character. There are questions that need answering, and these answers come in due course. Not every detail from the in-between years is necessary for the story to continue. Another benefit to these time jumps is new entry points for new viewers. While the series is absolutely worth watching from the start, if you want to just jump in right now to see what it's all about, each season gives a soft reset for new viewers. Season 4, like previous seasons, feels like the sequel to a blockbuster movie. We get to see familiar faces in new ways. We're gradually introduced to new characters, and there's an early grand-scale event that has to be dealt with immediately. With the new faces introduced in every season, this one's most important is Toby Kebbell as Miles. This gives the audience a new character to follow, and it also serves as a tool for the writers. Miles is new to the Mars base that we saw the very early stages of in Season 3. The more seasoned astronauts get to show this character around, giving the series an intimate look at how the base has grown, the technology being used, what day-to-day life is like, and how things are working. This is fascinating from a world-building perspective, and also gives the story a new direction to go in. Sure, the astronauts are all heroes to the civilians here on Earth, but even in a sci-fi Mars base, there's a tiered society forming. Miles is a grunt. He's an HVAC technician. The glamours of space travel don't quite find their way to him. The legacy characters in this series are getting old. The question in the back of my mind in every episode is how long can they plausibly be kept around? Given the advancements we're shown in space travel, older people being on these space exploration missions doesn't seem too far out of line, but I do feel like the characters we've been following since the start are on borrowed time. If Season 5 is without any of the original characters at all, will this even feel like the same show? To be honest, I tried this series way back when the first season was new. After 1.5, 2 episodes, I decided if I was going to spend all this time learning about history, I wanted it to be the real history. I would find myself pausing the show to Google events and names to see what was real and what wasn't. It felt more like homework than enjoyment. I gave the show another shot when this 4th season was coming around. I told myself to just sit back and watch it for what it was. I didn't want to worry about it being alternate history. I didn't want to worry about the real history. And that is the move. Just put the show on and enjoy. The alternate timeline is merely a catalyst for the story. The series doesn't expect you or require you to have a deep knowledge of every single event from the space race into the early 2000s. After I got past these 2 initial episodes, I was hooked. The quality is top-notch. The effects are flawless. For All Mankind seems to escape the trap we're seeing more and more in high-concept streaming series, where the whole budget is blown early and 8 out of 10 episodes were left with characters talking in hallways. There is real tension in these stories. There are stakes. No character ever feels fully safe. Even when things seem like they may be going in a direction that doesn't quite fit the tone of the show, the writers are able to reel things back in, and even the largest swings in the stories land. Season 4 is no exception, except one small thing. The new character of Miles we just discussed feels like he's from a traditional network version of this excellent show. He gets too much screen time straight away, and the antics that surround him always feel like they need more explanation to fit into this grounded world. Some of the angles in this character's journey feel undeserved for such a new character. Now, none of these criticisms are a knock on Toby Kebbell's performance. He's making the material as good as it can be. These critiques probably stand out a little bit more than they normally would because it's the first real crack in the near flawless execution of the show. The only other minor complaint I have about the fourth season is the aging makeup on Joel Kinnaman. It's not great. I do prefer it to a recast or CG, but it still looks off. Season 4 of For All Mankind is truly incredible. I feel like this is a series that is not receiving the credit or viewership it deserves. Even with my relatively minor complaints on the fourth season, it has quickly become one of my favorite series. The fourth season debuts today, November 10th, on Apple TV Plus, with new episodes coming weekly.